Good afternoon. Welcome to Today with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker, and Dave will be joining us a little later for our second segment. So today is April 6th, 2017. Can't believe it. It's already April. Hope everyone is having a good month so far. Rainy day out there here in New Rochelle. Very dreary and cold, but that's all right. A good outlook for the weekend. We have Accepted Students Day coming up on Sunday. So anyone who's an accepted student, I would highly suggest that you join us. Begins early Sunday morning, also on Palm Sunday. But before that, Iona has one of its biggest events for Life for Life, and it's a 12-hour event to raise money for cancer research. It's a great weekend coming up. But we do have a lot to get to, as always. And I wanted to start with Judge Gorsuch. We've made history. Senate Republicans have deployed the so-called nuclear option on Thursday. And now this ensures that Judge Gorsuch will be confirmed. And this dramatically changes the way that the Senate does their business in order to overcome a Democratic filibuster. And there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a whole showdown going on for this. This was ground shaking, according to Fox News. Now, what this means, in case you haven't been following it, this nomination, is that the majority of Senate Republicans have changed the Senate precedent so that the High Court nominee can advance to a final vote with just a simple majority of 51 senators as opposed to the usual 60. Now, the Majority Leader Mitch McConnell declared, to restore norms, quote, and to get past what he called an unprecedented Democratic filibuster. The Minority Leader Chuck Schumer countered that the changes could send the Senate and the nomination process, quote, over the cliffs, and they succeeded in making the change on a party line vote Thursday afternoon, and the body then swiftly took another 55-45 vote to end the debate and tee up the final confirmation vote, which is expected tomorrow night. And this was after Democrats initially blocked Gorsuch in a filibuster earlier in the day. 4 Democrats broke ranks, including Senators Michael Bennet of Colorado, Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, and Joe Manchin from West Virginia. While Democrats, Republicans still fell short of the 60 votes they needed to proceed, prompting McConnell to overhaul the way the Senate works. He did so, quote, for the sake of our country. Now, I just want to make it clear, the Democrats had a chance to just make it go easy and go ahead and confirm Judge Gorsuch. President Trump could have nominated someone who was far more conservative. It's not going to really tip the balance of the court as of right now. Don't forget, we have Justice Ginsburg, Justice Kennedy, and Justice Breyer, who are all over 80. Over 70, rather. It's just so when one of those justices retire, that will be more significant. So who knows, we might be doing that in the coming months, the coming year, if they decide to retire, resign. So it's going to be interesting. When Ginsburg and Kennedy go eventually, it's going to be interesting because that will then tip the court. Now, I'm just pulling up a piece from Newsday.com, and actually one of my favorite professors, Dr. Jeannie Zaino, has wrote an opinion piece, but she lists some great facts. And she says that First, if your goal is to keep Gorsuch off the bench, the filibuster is not a winning strategy. Even supporters of this tactic agree that it will not work, and Senate Republicans that will go nuclear and decrease the requirement to confirm the Supreme Court justices to 60 from a simple majority, to a simple majority rather, and Gorsuch is expected to get the necessary votes. The Democrats really had no chance in keeping Gorsuch off the bench. Like, that was never really in there. I mean, unless they didn't go with this nuclear option, then they would have been screwed, because then that would mean that they would abandon their own president in their own party. And then the second reason the filibuster, according to Zaino, is short-sighted is that it has the potential to hurt liberals and the causes that they care about, not to mention to jeopardize the future of the Supreme Court. And there are 3 Supreme Court justices, all over the age of 76, Stephen Breyer, Anthony Kennedy, and Ginsburg, as I said. And statistically, the most common way in which justices leave the court is not resignation, retirement, or impeachment, but unfortunately it's death. In short, age matters, and is not out of the question that even a one-term President Trump will be in a position to appoint a second or maybe even a third nominee to the bench. And if he has the opportunity, he will choose someone as conservative, if not more, than Gorsuch. So while Gorsuch may be conservative, there are plenty of other qualified people out there who are semi-conservative. So we'll see what happens with that. And he's equally conservative as Justice Antonin Scalia, who died early last year. And it's expected that Gorsuch will vote like Scalia in key cases, and as a result will have a little impact of the court. So there you have it. By tomorrow afternoon, we should have a clear indication on Judge Gorsuch and whether or not he gets confirmed. As I said, most likely, and according to the opinion piece that I just read from Iona professor Dr. Jeannie Zaino, if you're interested in viewing this piece, you can head over to newsday.com, and the full article is posted there. Now, moving on to the next news story this afternoon. Defense Secretary James Mattis is to brief Trump on options for military action in Syria. As you may have heard, that there's been a terrible, terrible attack that happened in Syria, a chemical attack in the northern border, and it's believed to have been carried out by forces loyal to Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria, and it killed 72 people. Many of those, unfortunately, were children. And he'll be briefed by Mattis in Florida on some options, one of which that could be missile strikes from U.S. Navy ships. So, it's going to be a tough call there. I mean, does the U.S. really want to get involved in another war? I don't think so. I mean, we're already involved in 2, if not more, right now, in Iraq and Afghanistan. That'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is currently in Palm Beach, Florida, with the president and is expected to address the press this afternoon at any time. It's unclear if his comments will be about China or Syria. The Prime Minister of China is in this country right now, meeting with the Trump administration, discussing many things. Yeah, and that'll be an interesting visit. Also to add, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley condemned the United Nations and threatened the U.S. could retaliate unilaterally against Syria. And she said, quote, "When the United Nations consistently fails in its duty to act collectively, there are times in the life of states that we are compelled to take our own action, Haley said, and then she went on to say, for the sake of the victims, I hope the rest of the council is finally willing to do the same. And she called the attack, quote, a new low, even for the barbaric Assad regime, and went on to say that, quote, Russia cannot escape responsibility. There is some speculation that Russia had some involvement in this attack. It's, nothing new that Russia is not on the side of the United States when it comes to the conflict in Syria. And another story that I have is the recent story on Susan Rice. But before I get to that, I will welcome Dave on air, who just joined us this afternoon.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you this afternoon? You have had a busy day, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Get to run around. I was working as viewers know, since I work for the school, and Sunday is the most important day for my job, being accepted Students Day. I had to go, drop off all the videos everywhere. I had to go to Vitanza Commons over in Spelman, had to give Frank over there all the videos, set them up on all the TVs, make sure everything works, and then I had to go over to where the welcoming opening ceremony is happening over in Hines, and give Brian Byer, who does all of the stuff over there, give him the videos, put him in the TriCast, make sure everything works. So yeah, it was fun. Then I just got briefed on some other things we'll be doing, and I'm just gonna say this right now, but I will be running the Facebook page on Sunday, as well as I will be driving a golf cart. So if we have any prospective people that are students watching, you'll see I'll be the kid wearing the gray button-down shirt with the red and yellow tie, and I'll be driving a golf cart, and you see any Facebook posts around the college on Sunday, you'll know that's from me. And
yeah, I feel like walking, maybe I'll catch a ride.
Maybe I'll catch a ride. And I know you, Matt, you're on the student panel, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the student panel, and I will be giving tours throughout the day, so busy day as well.
So you'll see, about me and Matt will be heavily invested on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. It always is. Beautiful day. I think it'll be in the 60s.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Not like today where it's,
dreary and cold. And
crappy weather. But, yeah. Listen, I can't wait. It'll be fun.
All right, so I will head to the last story that I have. And it's been revealed the other day that Susan Rice, a former cabinet member, under President Obama, said that she was involved in the alleged surveillance, I should say, of the Trump transition team. And it's not clear yet on the whole story, but she's been unmasked as the person who possibly, could have ordered these, these taps, and it's unclear, who and if she was working with anyone, and now she's coming out and saying that it was part of her job, but keep in mind that she hasn't been too truthful in the past because of past events such as the Benghazi terror attack that happened a few years ago, and all the controversy surrounding that incident, and then it occurred. This evidence turned up when House Intelligence Chair Representative Devin Nunes of California held a press conference on the Hill about unmasking Susan Rice. So a big story that'll be coming out with more info soon, but have any thoughts on Gorsuch nomination on this?
Well, they had the nuclear. They did the earlier today. They did the nuclear option for the Gorsuch nomination. So we'll have to see how that goes, because the Democrats were filibustering him. And I thought it was very funny. You just said about Susanna Rice and how they basically laughed because everyone said, Trump's kind of crazy for saying, no, he's not. He's just saying that, he has no proof. And Obama told him you have no proof. And the FBI called me, said you have no proof. And now you have someone coming out saying, well, maybe I was tapping into his, following his people. And maybe I was doing that stuff. So maybe he's not so crazy.
But, and, also people have to understand is that presidents, can say stuff, but they can't sometimes say at the time like where they're getting it from.
Just because it also it's the national security a lot of the times, and
classified
it's also
material.
What happens if for instance, they may have caught Susanna Rice doing this if she in fact is the one that orchestrated this, caught her doing this a year ago, but they can't say that at the time. It's well as you have to find a time and place. Granted, with Trump, he just kind of he's not the best at finding a time and a place. He kind of just says it's on his mind. So, it's a little. I think it's more or less he was showing restraint, not saying it if they happened to catch her, say, a year ago. I don't know now, people. Don't hold my words to this. I don't know when they found this out, or if she's, who says she's the only one doing it? Who says she may be taking the fall for someone else? For all we know, she may be taking the blame for someone else because that's happened plenty of times in history. So
yeah,
who knows? But it's something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it's this story is far from over. I'm sure more bombshells will come out in the coming months, coming weeks. But I'm pleased that there'll be no more Supreme Court vacancies, right now, once Gorsuch is confirmed. Pretty definite by now, unless the Democrats make a last move switch, but that's highly unlikely because they've already initiated the steps to do the nuclear option this afternoon. The vote will take place tomorrow night, and then that'll be the end of that. And I was saying earlier that I was about to say Judge Zeno. Professor Zeno said in her opinion piece that that we have 3 justices now that are over 80. Yes. We have Breyer, Kennedy, and Ginsburg. So they can, for all we know, leave soon.
Pass away.
And also she made a good point that even when Gorsuch is on the court, he's not going to tip it, and because he's replacing Scalia, who is a conservative as well. So yes, if there were 2 vacancies and there was another conservative, then yes.
Then you have more of an argument.
I mean, that I could see the Democrats filibustering, but for this one, it's not going to be significant.
It's more or less it's filling a position that's already. And for all we know, we have no idea. We're in our law class. You have no idea where the justice is going to go. Just because they look conservative, they look liberal, and we're not even talking about political parties here. Being a conservative judge, being a liberal judge, have nothing to do with what you vote. The Democratic or Republican. We have no idea. There's been plenty of times where it's been a conservative judge who ends up being very liberal, or a conservative-looking judge who ends up being liberal, or a liberal judge who ends up being conservative. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, as well as just had to be filled because 4 and 4 is you're tying too much.
Yeah, and that's very unfair.
And the thing is, in our law class, I can tell you now from examples that I've done for work in case briefs, there's been quite a few 5-4 decisions. Can't have that if you only got 8 people.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, that wraps up our news segment, I believe. But we'll have much more coming up in segment 2. Also, please feel free to comment on our Facebook Live videos. Anything you want, we'll answer them in one of our segments.
Even if it's already passed, news segment, a news question, we'll still talk about it.
Yeah.
So please, anything. It could be about why is it raining out today? I'll do my best weatherman impression.
Well, yeah. We'll look up some weather statistics, and feel free to tweet us as well, and reach out to us on Facebook. We're all over the place. So, and we'll be right back.